I
made
saw
waves.
that. I thought
Obviously,
that was from the 60s. I swear to God, I saw that. I thought it was AI, but it's Justin
it,
starting trouble.
that's right. It's good trouble. What was the thought process behind that, Justin?
They say that change comes about two ways. Either they see the light or they feel the fire. And they have not seen the light. And so it's time for them to feel the fire. And it's time for us to make a clear clarion call that we will not go back to the Confederacy without a fight. That we are at war for multiracial democracy, that they are trying to take us backwards in history, and that we have to fight like hell to everything we have. We cannot be afraid doing things that are comfortable to them, like silent protests, but we must do things that dramatize for the nation the stakes that we're facing here. I burned that Confederate flag because I thought of my grandparents who came from Tennessee, had to leave during Jim Crow because of the terrorism that came from that system where people could burn crosses in your yard trying to vote or for trying to have economic power. And so they moved to Chicago, and I've come full circle back to the South in the spirit of my ancestors and my grandparents to fight like hell with everything I have. And I think we need to burn this Confederacy down, these systems, because they're going to say, oh, he's calling for violence. But no, I do believe that we have to burn down these systems that are dehumanizing. And that's what that flag represents, the old South. And we represent a new South that is multiracial, multi-generational, that uplifts the human dignity of all people. And that's what we must lean into. I took that Confederate flag out of my pocket, and it said, we are not going back, because that's the message I wanted to send to Speaker Cameron Sexton and Governor Bill Lee and all the other Confederates who voted to take away Black voting power yesterday.
DL, it seems like a good protest is one that if they get mad about it, they're kind of telling on themselves, right? If you're mad that he's burning the Confederate flag, what does that say about you as a person, right?
Absolutely. And, it isn't the people who are angry. It's the people who are silent. This cannot happen without the acquiescence of the majority of Tennesseans. It just couldn't happen. It's a thing they don't get to be silent on. Either you're for everybody having a say in the future of this nation or you're not.
We need to also talk about the silence of those on our side of the aisle who for so long reprimanded us. You know this, Canoe, for being too radical, for being too vocal, telling us, oh, you need to quiet down, as one representative says. And yet what we saw yesterday was the clear sign. Silence has gotten us into this mess. Acquiescence has gotten us to this mess. That fear has got us into this mess. And we have to go in with this mentality. And that's why I burned that flag yesterday and I brought that air horn that you use at sports games, because we have nothing to lose. People who are in elected office right now, we're in a moment in our history where we have nothing to lose. We have to fight with everything we have, because our children will judge us not by what we do, but by what we don't do in this moment. Will you have the courage to speak up and risk something? Will you have the courage to risk your title and risk your proximity to getting, invited golfing with the governor? To hell with that. We want to talk about the next generation and how we have to fight with every tool available to us, because if we wake up one day and we don't have our rights, and we're back in the Confederacy, back in a system where we can't even go out back into slavery, if I'm not being alarmist, but we can't get back to that system again. And so we have to be serious, very clear, the stakes right now, and be willing to do something out of the ordinary to fight back against this system.